Well, let's talk all about this now with Johnson Emmanuel Chukwuka, the chairman of the board of the Nigeria-Russia Trade and Investment Advisory Council. Johnson, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us here at Moscow.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. We're getting a lot of reports. We're seeing it in some of the, some people are calling it the right-leaning media, Trump's favorite media. They're talking all about this genocide against Christians in Nigeria. I've spoken to guests from Nigeria. I've spoken to the presidential advisor from Nigeria. He says, look, there is violence happening there against all ethnicities. It's not just one. It's everyone is kind of finding themselves under the hammer right now from various fundamentalists. Trump using a lot of rhetoric about Christians in Nigeria right now. He's calling it a genocide, which is a very strong word. How would you interpret his opinion on this?
Anyway, it's quite clear what America stands for in Nigeria. So there's nothing new. There's been a long-time agenda or plan, rather, that the U.S. have against Nigeria, to disintegrate the country. It's been a worked-out plan, so they've been attempting this through many means.
But what's the interest? Sorry, why Nigeria? What are they interested in Nigeria?
Anyway, Nigeria is a very strategic country.
Yeah.
So, and then I think with the resources Nigeria has, which also draws the attention of the U.S., and then they will do everything to hold Nigeria. And then breaking Nigeria will actually give them a hedge.
So what kind of resources are we talking here? Because, you've got Venezuela that's also in the crosshairs right now. Trump's very excited about Caracas. We know Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. Although it's a heavy oil, it requires a lot of refining. What's Nigeria got that's so attractive?
Okay, so Nigeria has crude oil, just like Venezuela. Nigeria has gas and other mineral resources also, lithium, gold and stuff like that.
Yeah, lots of goodies.
A lot, exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, these are enough to attract attention of the U.S. And then, so they can go about this. And then, in our history, we understand that it would be misleading for us to actually think that U.S. is our partner.
You think it's misleading to think of the U.S. as your partner?
Exactly.
That's a really strong comment, Johnson. There will be many other countries in the world, or perhaps even on your continent, that would disagree with you, perhaps, on that.
Anyway, partnership are built on mutual trust and then respect.
Yes.
This was never built between us and the U.S. In fact, the history of U.S. having their embassy in Nigeria is dated back to 1945, when Nigeria was still under the colonial master. Now, one will ask the question, what did the U.S. do in order to help Nigeria get itself out of the colonial era?
Tell me.
U.S. got independence in 1776. As a matter of fact, has an experience of what it is to be under colonial rule.
Yeah.
U.S. never helped